Hey guys, what I thought we'd go over today is tools carried on the KLR. Stay tuned. Alright, diving in, this is a super cheap, Chinese, Walmart, whatever it was. I think it was probably Lowe's. Small little tool bag that I use inside the tool tube in case I have a failure. Not only do I have a bag to work on the side of the road, which you'll see in some of the pictures when you get a flat or you're working on your bike, it's nice to have something to throw your tools in, keep them off the ground. But again, if I get a failure in that tool tube, I'm less likely to lose all the little tools through there if it's in one solid bag. The bag is slowly disintegrating. I don't expect it to last a lifetime in here. And I guess I'll just pull this off and kind of go over a few things. So on here, again, I got these from CountyCom, but these little tubes are essentially uninflated 2-liter bottles, I believe. And so I've got some safety wire into there and a rubber band, more tape, electrical tape, and duct tape. And then really the key ingredient inside here is the vulcanizing compound that Best Rest gives you. Hands down, the best actual not rubber cement vulcanizing compound for putting patches on your tube. The problem is bouncing around with your tools and things. This thing's just going to get punctured. It's going to dry out, and you're not going to have any glue when you need it. So I protect it in this guy. It gets bounced around, but it protects it, as you can see. You saw I had, I'll take the tape off here. This is Motion Pro's like ultralight chain brake tool. The bag it came with was ridiculously large. I cut it down, but then I had no way of really sealing it, so I just duct tape it. You're not really using this thing all the time. This is kind of worst case scenario. It's got little attachments in there, chain breaker tool, presses, that sort of thing. And yeah, just keep it duct taped together and you'll be right as rain. It's not the neatest thing in the world. Of course, you're going to need zip ties. Now, I like basically made in the USA, good quality zip ties. The cheap ones are just going to disappoint you anyway. But you can use these for all sorts of stuff. You can plastic solder with them. Obviously, it's 1,000 uses. The other thing I use, especially if you're trying to tie up things that are hot, are these stainless ones that you can get in the plumbing section. Obviously, they won't melt if you're trying to put them on an exhaust. I started carrying them on Wildland Fire because I knew, again, they wouldn't melt. I do have one of these little trail jacks, super handy. It's come in handy, well, more than a few times. I've even used it to prop up a few things that weren't motorcycle related. Nice thing to have. Obviously, you can have like a wood stick or something like that if you want. Not sure what I used to carry on here, but this is just kind of a little threaded key keeper. So if you want to try and keep your tools tied together, I think that's what I have them in. But right now, they're currently all loose. Small section of the chain that you're currently running, which is always nice to have. I always keep the little piece that I tie off of there. Some Motion Pro spoons. These are really nice. They're not super deep, but they're nice and rounded. I've never had an issue. I only carry 2. These are a little heavy. I could definitely save some weight going with some fancier ones. Just haven't got around to it yet. Little thing of fuel line. This is part of one of those spiral chain cleaners. I'll literally just take my pliers, hook it on there, and then let the bike run and jam this into something near my kickstand. And we'll do a video on that. But I cut this down so you don't need the whole spiral apparatus. Great way to clean your chain. Again, here's one of my old magnetic ones. This is sort of starting to die, but it's nice having something that you can actually poke and get bolts out of the middle of your motor with. A pen, which I didn't know I had. Toothbrush, sort of handy, not really needed, I guess. More fuel line. I think I'd use part of that. That's why it was cut down. Here is sort of your standard 13. What do we got on here? 1310. That's probably a 12 and an 8. So standard wrench sizes. Again, just to keep them neat and clean. Usually I loop this guy through all those. This is the little cotter pin for the jack. I've got some leftover core valves and things from changing tires. Might as well keep those. I'll put them in a different spot though. And then this funny thing we'll do a review on, but it's just come in handy. I keep it in the bottom to kind of keep all the tools together and the heavier ones, but it's a flexible funnel. You can use it to pour gas in if you're getting gas from some dude's janky like 5-gallon jerry can. I've used it for the oil, all sorts of things. It doesn't weigh anything, but it's an added weight, and I've used it on some occasions. But again, even if you're working on the side of the road, I'll do a video on it, but you can turn it into a little bolt capture thing. It's handy. Oh, one more wrench, a 14, which comes in handy on the larger bolts, which I know there's a reason I carry that. It's just not coming to mind right now. And then the other luxury tool I carry that's adds a little bit of weight is the Baja tire changing tool. I'll be doing a video on this. You can see this one's bent. I really like this tool. It is a luxury. It's one of those things where, you know, if I'm in the middle of nowhere and I fix a flat, I don't want to have to worry about pinching the tube and putting it back on, especially when I was super new to putting tires on. But this has made a world of difference doing all my own tires. You guys know that if I'm going on a trip and it's going to be highway, I'll just straight up just change my tire. I don't have to go to the shop and, you know, pay some guy. So you can do it obviously with the regular spoons, but that's part of the reason I only carry 2 spoons, is because this guy really helps put everything back on in a safe manner. It is heavy. It is a copy of a Czechoslovakian guy, I believe from Czech. But he never answered my emails, so I decided to go with this guy. So it's kind of a knockoff that this guy's making in the U.S. You can see it's taking a beating. I have broken one. We'll wait till the review till that comes out. But that is what I carry in the tool tube. A lot of heavy, longer tools to keep the weight down low and not take up room anywhere else. So that's it for now, guys. Stay tuned. Anything else? Oh, one thing that's sitting on the ground here was my crescent wrench. Usually stays in there. I just got done taking my front tire off. This is pretty much my axle nut. So I could probably get the spoons that have the axle nut for your size, but this comes in handy also for other reasons, like a hammer. A part of a supplementary bag that I usually have all sorts of little knickknacks in, I do carry a couple extra things. Not all of them are necessarily tools. Usually have a thing of nitrile working gloves, so if you're really going to make a mess. I've got a couple wheels that I essentially will put on carabiners. I need to make a pulley system. This stuff you probably heard about. It's like silicone tape. Basically, it'll fix a lot of different things. Actually, it was the only thing that will keep my blinker on. With all the other tapes, duct tapes and things just didn't want to work. Main reason I carry is for a hose blowout. It's a water-cooled bike, so I've got radiator hoses, and I've got more than a couple now, especially when I've got the additional bypass system on there. So this is like 3 feet, more than enough to fix a couple hoses. A little bit of super glue never hurts. Tire lube. Now this is in a different container. This was an old visor cleaner container, and this is some tire lube that I got from Best Rest Products as well. Fantastic stuff. Really like it. I think it's part of the reason that I also don't really have an issue with breaking beads on the tires, is because I put them on with that goop, and it comes off great. Spare fuel filter. You never really know if you're diagnosing issues. I've got one outside the tank and inside the tank because of my 10-gallon. And then this little guy is an old Dramamine container, and what I've got in there is the stuff, the little flakes that you put in a radiator to fix a leak. You never really know if you're going to get a pinhole leak or you wreck and it's got a little crack in there. So obviously I don't have a full-size truck radiator. I've got a motorcycle radiator, so I don't think I need as many flakes. So inside this little Dramamine pill, not only do I have electrical tape and duct tape on there, but I've got the little powder for it as well. So that's what I'm currently carrying. Any advice, questions, comments, queries, comments, more comments, and comments again. Like, share, and subscribe. This has been the Wandering Beast with the tools that I carry on the KLR. Thanks for watching, everyone.